Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And boy, oh boy, do we have an episode right here that I really want to talk about. So before we get into the show, make sure you go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. Oh boy, am I going to enjoy this one, because there's going to be some interesting drama in this one. Now, as y'all know, as I've said it before on many occasions, Draymond Green is the most outspoken person in the media in terms of current active players, right, in the NBA, right? No one is more outspoken than Draymond Green, and of course, with his platform on the Volume Podcast Network, or whatever you want to call it, Draymond Green has been the center of attention, especially in media, over the last, let's say, 2 months. I mean, the guy's gotten so big that now his podcast was even being featured in the ESPN Awards, and they were talking about it and promoting it there. And whenever he says things, when he goes at various personalities, like maybe, I don't know, Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith at one point, or Mad Dog Russo, it just brings more attention to his podcast and more people watch, etc., etc., etc. From the outset, Draymond Green basically said that the new media is basically players or people that have played the sport, given their opinions on the sport. There's no agendas, there's no fluff. It's just a bunch of fresh takes on things and how they see them. Draymond since then has come under a lot of criticism from some viewers online. I've seen people on Twitter basically saying, Draymond, we're not really seeing any of the innovation in what you're talking about here. It just seems to be one argument and one beef that you're having with one person or the other. Where's the groundbreaking content? Where's the novel, the novel things we're expecting you to say? We haven't heard anything yet, right? So there's been that kind of pushback, and I've been one of the people that push back on Draymond Green's notion of you needing to be a basketball player to be able to talk about basketball, or even daring to think you can even understand basketball. I thought that was just a ridiculous thing to say, and I still believe that. Now, today I was listening to a segment on the show, Max Kellerman, Jay Will, and Keyshawn, their show on ESPN. I think it's a morning radio show. Good, but they stream it as well. So they were there, right? And they were reacting to the comments that Draymond Green basically, the comments that Draymond Green recently made about the Chicago Bulls and the Golden State Warriors, where he essentially said that he believes that the Golden State Warriors, the 2017 Golden State Warriors, could have beaten the Chicago Bulls because he was watching some tape, and that's what he essentially said. So that's what they were reacting to. So when Max Kellerman was introducing that topic, he started talking about it, and then Jay Williams took it in a totally different direction, and he essentially called out Draymond Green for not being original enough. But before we get into those comments, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let's get into the comments and let's play the exchange between Max Kellerman and Jay Williams. And I want you guys to take a listen to what Jay Williams had to say about Draymond Green, and we're going to come back and react to it. Take a listen to that there.
Guys, speaking of the 80s, Draymond Green says the 2017 Warriors, or the 90s even, would beat Michael Jordan and the 98 Bulls. He said, quote, "I'm watching the 98 Bulls versus Utah in the finals. I can't help but to notice that our 2017 team, that would be the team with KD, would have beaten these Bulls by a dub and these Jazz by 40 if they're going to play these brands of basketball. And that's why it's dumb to compare eras." By the way, in my opinion, he's absolutely right. Of course, if you simply plucked one team out of a previous era, they would get killed by a modern team because the modern team is built upon what they've learned and have added new things.
But wait,
but that's not how you do it.
Can I have a question though?
Yeah.
I thought Draymond was new media. Why is new media discussing old media tactics?
Because he's smart. Look at this. We're talking about him. Draymond Green's
I'm not talking about it.
He's new. What? Yes, you were talking about it right now.
I'm just saying, but he's new media. So this is what old media discusses. Why isn't new media thinking about what's forward thinking? What's futuristic?
Jay, dough is dough. Ratings are ratings. Clicks are clicks. Eyeballs are eyeballs. Right now on
Max,
ESPN,
the point is,
on the screen,
Max,
it says Draymond Green speaks, and we're talking all about him and his podcast.
See where it is, Max. My point is, it's hypocritical.
Why?
Right? Well, don't call yourself new media if you're discussing old media.
Well, you don't get rid of it wholesale.
Oh, you don't?
No,
I don't know. It was never explained to me what new media is.
New media is just the.
You don't have to explain it. You didn't create it, so don't try to back it. I'm just saying, when somebody comes on, it's like
proliferation
all this
media,
old media, and all they talk about all these things. And
oh, I see. You're criticizing what the players are saying.
Up a point. I'm just saying, if you want to say new media, then advance the ball. Like we've had these conversations so many times.
Well,
like, can KD's team beat the Jordan Bulls?
But Draymond is still sports fans forever will be interested in this team. The whole point of sports is to create hierarchy. Who's better than whom?
I understand. I just don't fall for the bait.
I absolutely am going to take the bait.
Woo! So you heard what Jay Williams had to say. Basically, he called Draymond down to the carpet. He said, bro, okay, I get it. You're the new media, right? You're speaking from the vantage point of somebody that has played the sport, and you're going to give us now this, this new in-depth analysis on basketball that we're not getting from guys that didn't play the sport. And basically what he's saying is like, bro, you're just out here regurgitating takes that other people have said. He said that sounds a lot like the old media right now. A lot like the old media, and it doesn't sound like there's anything original about that. What surprises me is the level of fervor that Jay Williams went at Draymond Green, and here's why I think he did that. I think that, and y'all know Jay Williams is a former NBA player, so we can't use the line of, but then again, some people they'll say, oh, well, he's a company man, right? So they're going to call him a company man, then they're going to fault the guy for having a job. They ain't going to give him a job, but they're going to fault him for having a job, and that's the reason he has that opinion, whatever, anyway. But he's a former player, right? He's a former player, and he's giving it say, and I think Jay Williams knows a decent amount about basketball. I think it's safe to say that he knows his stuff, right? Now, I disagree with some of his all-time rankings, but obviously Jay Williams knows one or two things about basketball. I think what you're seeing is, I think that probably initially Jay Williams was excited to see what Draymond Green was going to do with his newfound popularity, because Draymond Green is turning into he's a real public figure right now. If we're talking about outside the NBA, right? I think he's known more for the things that he says than his actual play on the basketball court. And in some cases, Draymond Green has done a fantastic job of, distracting people from thinking about his play on the basketball court, because a lot of it has been forgettable, to put it kindly. Like, that's just the truth. But I think that he was probably happy to see him, go out there and get the attention. But I think as time went on, I think he was waiting for him to say something original. And I think he's realized what a lot of us have realized, or at least some of us have realized, that Draymond Green ain't saying nothing new, man. He ain't saying nothing new. I said it when I said, so you're going to give us a take on basketball from players that played. So I said, so what about Shaq? What about Kenny Smith? What about Charles Barkley? What about Jalen Rose? Like, what about all of these guys? What about Chris Webber? What about all of these guys that have been talking about basketball for all this time? You're telling me that they don't know what they're talking about? Those guys give excellent basketball analysis, and there's nobody better than Charles Barkley. Nobody better than him. I think the best basketball analyst on ESPN is probably Jalen Rose. And then after him, obviously, you have JJ Redick. But I think Jalen Rose is a savant when it comes to basketball. He really, really understands basketball, right? So it's like, okay, we already had that. And initially, when people were excited, they were like, yeah. But then when you sat down and you did a little bit of thinking, you're like, but wait a minute, we already have that. So you're not really bringing anything new in terms of, players that have played the sport talking about it. So then it comes down to this subject matter. And that's what I think Jay Williams is really attacking. He's like, the subject matter is stale. We've heard this already, bro. Give us something new. And I think Draymond Green is probably beginning to figure out what a lot of people are learning about the media space. Here's what I've understood about anything. If you go into any field, especially something that you have no background in, if you go into that field and you have zero respect for the field and you think, oh, it's easy because, well, all they're doing is simply talking, that is a recipe for failure, in my personal opinion. That's just what it is. Now, Draymond Green is in a very unique position where he's an NBA player. He plays on a team that just won a championship. He plays on a very, very, very popular team. And therefore, he has this ability to leverage himself and to get talked about by bigger platforms, which brings more attention to his show, right? There are very few people that have that type of, that have that going for them. But at the heart of it all, if you remove that aspect of it, where's the content? Where is the content? Let me tell you something. Sports media is hard. You know why it's hard? It's only hard when you give a damn. When you respect your audience, you respect their intelligence, then you're going to realize it's very hard. It's actually very hard to come up with interesting topics on a daily basis that causes people to keep coming back and actually engage with you and causes them to actually think. Give you guys a perfect example of what I'm talking about. On this channel, we produce about 2 to 3 videos a day, 6 days a week. Okay, 2 to 3 videos a day. Now, if you think that, oh, well, all he does is he just sits up there, comes up with a topic, him and Marco go, okay, let's produce it. It don't work like that. Sometimes it takes 3, 4, 5 hours for me to think of something that I think, okay, is this interesting enough? Why? Because the audience matters. You're not producing content for yourself. You're producing it for the audience. You want them to engage. And when you start putting thought and you start paying, you approach it with the same level of attention to detail, then you're going to succeed. I'll give you a perfect example of a person that took his same respect that he had for his original craft and took it to another craft and excelled at a high level. Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant approached media and storytelling with the same level of dedication and respect that he had for basketball. And that's the reason why he was able to win an Oscar. But if Kobe Bryant went out there and said, well, I'm Kobe Bryant, people are definitely going to watch my stuff because after all, I'm Kobe Bryant, so I don't need to put any attention. I don't need to really put any effort into it. And it's going to do well. It's going to fail. Kobe is an example of somebody you emulate in terms of when you're trying to transition from one thing to the next. And my biggest issue with the whole Draymond Green is that it sends the message that it's easy and it's not. And what I think it does is it breeds lazy people that don't want to work hard. That's my biggest issue with the entire matter. It's not easy. You shouldn't be looking for the shortcut. You should be willing to put in the work, especially for young men. There are a lot of young men that just want the easy way out, looking for the easiest way out. They don't want to suffer. They don't want to pay their dues. They just want to go from 0 to 100. And that's the problem. I see a lot of content out there, and I'm being honest with you. I see a lot of content out there where guys are just simply not putting forth the effort. It's clear to see. You can go look at our content. You can look at our videos in year 1, year 2, year 3, and you can see we've slowly improved. There's an improvement there. With our delivery, with our thumbnails, with our lighting, with our background, there's an improvement. You know why? Because we actually take this stuff seriously. And Draymond Green is talking a big talk, but now you have your peers. Forget about me. You have your peers basically saying, hey, bro, I'm waiting for the new media. Where's it at? And if it ain't no beef, what else are we talking about here? Where's the interesting content? What happens? What can you create when you're not relying on bringing on this guy and bringing on this guy and bringing on this guy? What if it's just you standing there by yourself and coming up with content? You don't need this player and that player to bolster your show. Can you be interesting enough for your audience? That's where the real work lies. So I think he asked a fair question, and I respect his audacity to go directly at him. So the question to you guys is this: for the Draymond Green supporters, what's your response to this? For those of you that are on the side of Jay Williams, what do you think about what he said? And what do you think about what I had to say? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.